Hey everyone, it's Connor from Koyfin, and today I'm going to highlight one of our latest big releases, the highly requested custom data series functionality. In short, this allows users to upload a custom time series of data, only requiring dates and units, and that data series will then exist as a usable asset within a Koyfin system. The custom data series can be added to watch lists, portfolios, and can be pulled up in charts. This means I can upload data for assets not currently supported by Koyfin, such as private funds and individual bonds, and reflect those in the performance and exposures of my portfolios. It also allows me to upload non-monetary data series like company KPIs, economic data series, and more. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the creation process, starting with adding some custom data series to a portfolio, and then I will highlight some other use cases. At present, custom data series are going to be located in your account settings. So in the top right here, I'm going to scroll down to my data. And now we have a custom data series for users under personal assets. We'll start by creating something which will reflect a private fund. So the first thing I would do is press add custom data. You can also do this in the search window as well. As you'll see on the left-hand side, if I go to the custom tab, which is a new category, I can also open a window from there as well. Similarly, if you're in a watch list, you press add ticker, you go to custom and create. You'll be able to open that window from there as well. So let's create our first custom data series. This is the creation window. For now, we do this using a CSV, and you have the option to upload a new CSV and append one, which we'll discuss shortly. The first thing we're going to do is populate some data in here. So I'm going to upload a CSV for a private fund, which Koyfin doesn't currently support. So I've uploaded my private fund, and we can see that I have date information here and close price, which will be the value. Just an FYI, this takes month, day, year format for the dates, so you'll have to have it set up that way. And now I'm going to press next. We can see that the date column matches the date in my file. I'm just going to turn the close price to match the value there for the template field and press next. There'll be another confirmation window. I'm just going to submit this. We'll process the data and we'll pull that up on a chart for you. So here we have a preview of what the price data looks like. That all looks good to me. And we have a table here showing all of the values. Now I'm going to give this a name. So we'll call this Connor's private fund. And for the ticker, I'll call it CPF. The name and ticker are important. They are required. This will help you pull up and identify the asset or security or data series when you're in the Koyfin system. So now we come to asset allocation. These are important because this will dictate how they're reflected when you add them to portfolios. So this is an equity private fund. So we'll leave the asset allocation as equity. When it comes to instrument type, I want to search for private equity here. But you do also have other options. I'll just open that drop down again for you. You've got warrants, mutual funds, government yields, cryptocurrencies, economic. You've got different types of bonds in there, private debt, private equity, hedge fund assets. There's a big list here. If you can't find the category that it comes under, there is also an other category as well, which you can classify things as. For now, I'm going to classify it as private equity, and we'll leave the currency as US dollar. If you want to designate this as a non-monetary item, you can toggle that off, and you'll see that it just shows you the units. Alternatively, you can change the currency as well, and this will be reflected across the system and in the portfolio. So now we have our private fund data. All I'm going to do is create this asset in the system. If there's a lot of data, it might take a little second there. So we've got Connor's private fund. Now what happens when I go to the search bar is I can type that in and it pops up here for me with a custom label there. It shows me that it's equity asset allocation, and I can open this up in charts. So let's do that now. I'm going to open this up in a chart. I'm going to add some price information here. So let's pull up a price graph. And let's pull it over the entire period, and let's change this to a line chart. So you can see now that I'm reflecting this Connor's private fund, which is great. I can also add other things to it as well. If I want to turn this into a total return series, we have the underlying data because we have the price data that underpins this security. So I can add that there. Let's hide the price chart. Let's change this to year to date. And let's go ahead and add IWM for the Russell 2000 ETF. And we can chart those alongside each other quite easily. But now let's add this security to a portfolio. So let's go to model portfolios. Let's create a brand new one from scratch. And we'll call this Connor's model. I'm going to add in a couple of things here. First, we will add an SPY fund. And then we're going to add my custom security here as well. And we're going to equalize those weights just to show you how this works. And we'll create that portfolio. So you can see we're pulling in the performance data of the fund. We also have that reflected in holdings as well. So CFP there for mine. And if I go over to exposure, you'll see that we're reflecting that in the exposure as well. For some exposure exhibits, we don't have underlying holdings data for these, so you won't expect them to pop up in equity sectors or region or fixed income sectors as well, but they will be reflected in your asset allocation as well as the performance chart that we showed you in historical graph as well. And you also have historical returns, and it will be reflected in all of the risk and the holdings matrix as well. Now, if I go over to client portfolios for a second here, we have Mark Smith Prospect. This is a made up client portfolio. Mark Smith just joined me as a client. I'm opening up his portfolio. And now with custom data series, I'm able to add the securities that he have that Koyfin necessarily doesn't cover. So I'm going to add Connor's private fund here. Let's say he has 500 units. He paid $10 a unit and he bought it back in 2021. So we'll go ahead and save this portfolio now. And you can see that we're now populating profit and loss data. On the 1 day, we have all of the market value, we have P&L, total return, and all the stuff that you would expect. If I now go to exposure and go to instrument type, you can see that that private equity segment is coming from the fund that we created. If I go to asset allocation as well, if I filter for equity, you can see that my private fund is now included in there. And this is great for various reasons, because now if I come to create a report, all of this data will flow through into the report, and I'm able to reflect that when I send this over to clients as well. So if we go to holding summary, you'll see that Connor's private fund is reflected here. You'll see it's reflected in the asset allocation, in the security holdings chart, and it will be present across all of these different report pages. Now let's go ahead and create a few other versions of data series just to give you a flavor of how powerful this feature is. So I'm going to go back to my data and we're going to create a new one. So this time what I've uploaded is a count of Chipotle's international stores, so excluding US stores. I'm going to upload that data, and here it's on an annual basis, going back to 2008, and we're going to change the name to Chipotle International Stores ex-US. The ticker can be whatever you want. In this case, I might just make it Chipotle. The asset allocation, it doesn't really have one because it's a KPI. So I'm going to put other, and I'm going to put other for instrument type as well. Stores are obviously not denominated in currencies, so I'm just going to turn that off. Now let's create this asset in the system. We now have Chipotle International Stores. Just before we show you that in a chart, I'm going to show you how you can edit this. So if I come into the edit window, if I want to add a new year of data to Chipotle, we have two options here. If you upload another CV, the plus new will overwrite everything in the CSV. So if you have all of the history plus the new data, that might be the best option for you. Alternatively, if you just have a CSV with one row in it and the new date, you can append the CSV. So this will add additional data to your existing data. But we're not going to do that for now because this data is up to date and current. So now I'm going to pull Chipotle into a chart. So let's go to graphing. And now I'm going to add Chipotle International Stores. It does appear in the ticker picker there. And we're going to pull this up on a graph, and we're going to expand the period to the full range. I'm going to turn this into a bar chart. Let's make it red for Chipotle. And there we go. I've loaded Chipotle's international store count into the Koyfin system. Naturally, you can pull up other data series here that you've created and overlay them and have that contextual analysis as well. This is just the beginning of what we want to do with custom data series. It's flexible. It allows you to pull it into different areas of Koyfin and use it throughout portfolios and graphs. I'm sure there'll be a lot of feedback that comes in that will help us improve it further. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section below. Our help desk is help@koyfin.com. and we are at Koyfin Charts across all of our socials. Until next time, thank you.